Hello, and welcome to AHRK Encounter. I'm your host Melanie, and I'll be joining you along the AHRK path. This week, we'll be discussing overcoming distraction. I'm interested to learn how we can overcome distraction through the lens of our community involvement. Our guide today, Bernard Brashear, will take us on a journey where we will encounter a special VIP. Now let's get you started on the AHRK path with this quick video.
AHRK is the lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the AHRK path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is AHRK Encounter.
And welcome back to AHRK Encounter. I'm glad you found your way back to us. And it's typical because right now what we're finding is that distractions are everywhere. And this week, that's our topic, is how do we overcome distractions? And this week I have an amazing lineup of guests that we're going to be talking to about this topic, just to really bring it to life. And of course, on the AHRK path, what you always find is just different conversations that really highlight every part of the AHRK path, which is community is one of the foremost paths that we're going to be talking about today. And so today we have a guest, a VIP guest on the AHRK path that really lives this concept of community to the fullest, and that's why we invited him on today. So we welcome Adam Lockhart.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Adam is an amazing friend. He is a true VIP. And again, when you've been on the AHRK path with us, you know a VIP is someone that really lives into their value, their identity, and their purpose. And this is something that Adam has taken seriously every facet of his life, in his career. And it's through this concept, he has grown tremendously. So welcome, Adam.
Well, thanks again for having me. It's a real honor to be with you today.
Yeah, so again, one of the things that we do with our guests is we really bring this concept of, well, what makes you an authority in this area? And Adam is he's unarguable in this area. He's unshakable because the way he lives out this concept of community and how he's able to overcome distractions on a day-to-day life. And of course, my lens is undeniable. Well, most of the time, but.
Thank you.
So Adam, you've been celebrating community. I know your history. You worked on ships. You've traveled so much to really find that sense of community where not only you belong, but you can live into. Yeah. So share with us that first part of traveling on ships and community.
Well, I think what I found was when I was traveling, I was able to connect with people from all over the world. And that's something from being from a small town in Canada was really important to me because I was connecting, learning about how they were brought up and learning about the different communities that they were in and what they valued. And it was really amazing for me to pick from all of those and learn from everybody.
Yeah. And so when you met so many people, especially being on ships, the amount of distractions is endless. Oh. How did you keep your focus in terms of what you really wanted, which is, you loved connection, you loved connecting with people. But the distraction, not of the job, but just meeting so many people was just enormous.
Yeah, I think it was for me really taking the time to connect with those people and really dedicating that for myself. With the distractions, it's just having in your mindset that there's distractions, but it was valuable for me to give that person that time.
Yeah.
To really connect with them.
Well, and one of the things that I know about Adam is that when you connect with him, there's a focus perspective that he gives you. He gives you, not only does he stay focused on you, but it's this concept of conversation and which really leads to an intimate conversation. So how do you do that? How do you because again, to be focused is to push off distractions. Yeah. What do you find yourself doing more of? Do you find yourself pushing off distractions or really being more attuned to people?
I think it's just being aware of the distractions. I think that's critical. And not necessarily pushing them off, but when you're aware of them, you can take that time and reset. And I think that's really important.
Well, when you find yourself on the AHRK path, it's this concept of what are the things that are distracting you from the community that you belong in, and it's this area of I'm going to push off what's distracting me, but at the same time I'm going to be present and focused on what I need to do. And so on the AHRK path, what we like is to lead ourselves and others in this concept of acknowledging where I'm at. Do I always get distracted, or how often do I get distracted in conversations? And so it's an acknowledgement, because you just said the magic word, awareness. So what do you do when you find yourself being aware that you're getting distracted on a task? Because you're a busy man, you have a full-time job, and you have a full life.
I think it's a dedication to set that time making 30-minute meetings. So I value my time and I value their time as well. And by doing that, you really can focus on that person, focus on that engagement that you're having within that time window. And I think that was important for me to see, that you can take that 30-minute stop point, let's follow up afterwards, let's lead with some action items, and you're rewarding yourself as well as that other person as well in that engagement.
Yeah, and that's the acknowledgement is you're acknowledging that you're valuing your own time and their time.
And their time as well.
And that kind of keeps you focused on that community lens that becomes critical for you. So and that's something that as a starting point in this topic you can reach for as well, is that it's just being aware of what do I value. And the more that you do that acknowledgement becomes critical in building a strong community like Adam's done successfully and continues to do. But let's go to a different conversation, because again we move on to well, you weren't always this good. I know.
Thank you. It's been a decade.
It's been a decade, and that's how long I've known Adam, a decade plus. But it's just, I've seen you go through a lot of healing, and that's always a personal topic. Is you've had to heal your perspective on community, your inner community, your outer community. Again, being on the AHRK path is recognizing how important community is, but how recognizing that healing is a critical part of growth and development. So what are some of the things that you had to heal, especially when it comes to that busy life that you were living on ships, that fast pace?
Going back to ships, I think it's just a balance. It's your work-life balance. It's, when you see those distractions, dedicating time for personal and the professional. And I think that's a balance that we're looking at for myself is cherishing those moments with friends, colleagues, and family as well, and taking the time, especially in the busy world on the ships, being away and traveling for so long, you have to keep family core. So to spend time and dedicate time for them.
And what happened when you got it wrong? Something. There's a pain point between either work or personal.
I think it's more going back to the awareness. You acknowledge that, hey, do you know what? Maybe I didn't reach out to my brother as soon as I should have, or hey, do you know what? It's this friend I haven't connected with in 6 months. I need to connect with them again. And that's really what's important about the community, is even when you don't take that time, but you get to reconnect with them, you take up where you left off.
So you kind of own that. You have to kind of own that sense of community, because you value it. You've always valued it. And so when you own the misalignment between work and relationships, you kind of have to own that and to correct that.
Yeah, you could feel it. So you don't notice it, but you could feel it, that you're missing something.
So. Was it hard to find your way back? I know you kind of described it as when you see that misalignment, to work towards it. Because what I find in my personal life is that I'll get sucked into work, and at some point you go, wait a minute. It's just you gotta reset. You got to reset, because your family time and your personal community starts to you start to feeling a bigger disconnect, and you have to kind of jump back this way. But at the same time, that takes a lot of. I found it took a lot of healing for me to recognize that that find balance between work and personal as well. So just there's so many distractions around us.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just important just talking about it with a friend, and looking at those relationships and valuing them.
And that's kind of how Adam and I connected more, is how he valued that personal connection, and in his world, just the distractions of being out. When you're on a cruise ship, it's a different port of call, different sets of responsibilities, but he always found that center point to go, hey, you know what? There's something that's on my mind, and then of course reflecting back on where my friends and community at, and I always found that refreshing. But it's being on the AHRK path. It's not just about Adam's finding his way. It's about that reflection of where you at on the AHRK path. Is that recognizing that if you're not where you're at with your sense of community, there is a balance, there's a healing, and ultimately a restoration to where that to how you move on the path of life every day. So that's the invitation today, is don't just listen to Adam's success and victory in that area, but reach for it yourself. And really the next part of that is, of course, is restoration. Is what happened when you do find alignment? What happened financially in your work? What happened in your relationships with your family?
It all kind of comes together. When you have that cohesive understanding of everything seems simpler. And when you have that time, I'm also thinking, like, when I was in Florida on my own, it was cherishing the moments that I got with their teams and our international community. You might feel separated, but you're really not. And that's kind of the restoration for me, is cherishing that. So, yeah.
Well, and what Adam is talking about is he's a director for an international sales team. And as the team shifted and moved, and of course the corporate office was in a different location, he always found time to kind of find that balance between community, but also pushing off those distractions that allowed him to focus on who his friends are, but his work obligations. And for me, that's always critical to have that awareness of it. But I want to come back to this concept of restoration. Again, you've invested in those relationships. You invested in your personal time. What does it look like when to find that success?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's when, as I work with so many people all over the world, it's when I see them grow, maybe outside of our organization. And now I mentored them, but they're also mentoring me back. So I think that's kind of what you might be leading into. But, I have the honor of these relationships that have gone on for so many years. And they might not be in our organization today, but they're still valued for me. I learn with them. They connect with me on a personal note, just to say, hey, I need some help today. And that's the relationships that I cherish the most. So.
Well, and that's how Adam lives into his VIP, is recognizing that purpose element of staying in community, pushing off the distractions that disconnects us from each other, disconnects us from our work, because again, we get lost. The world that we live in today, I mean, the distractions are endless, and that's really why we're having this talk today, is because a community-centric life is mastering, recognizing distractions and pushing them off. And as Adam as I've seen him restore a lot of relationships, as people moved away, they shifted business, he's able to reconnect because of the way we go back to your VIP, how you value people and make them feel valued.
Yeah.
But again, it's just this concept of restoration. I just found that there's not just this healing where, there's an acknowledgement that it didn't go right, but I've seen this financial success come into your life when you live into that restoration concept. And how would you share that part with others? Is to really align your personal and work to find success?
For me, it's interesting because the financial is achieving the dreams that you set forth for yourself, achieving the success. And depending on how you measure that success, it's how do you set yourself up to keep growing, and how do you set yourself up to keep hitting different milestones, you know, whether it's a personal item that you've always wanted, or you know, the relationships that you have and the goals that you have with your partner. All of those things matter. So when you look at it, it's the financial, and it's the still with me, the community. You know, how am I rewarding my community by my experience and what I can give back? So like even myself, I like going out and eating, socializing, going to restaurants, and if I can pay it forward and talk to the server, talk to the bartender, and you know, just check in on their day and then reward them, that's for me a win. So.
Yeah, well, and I've seen you live that out, and this is kind of where not only does Adam live that out, but he lives it out repeatedly. And this is kind of where we get into this concept of kingdom, which is it's a normality. There's this concept of finding that success, finding that victory in a balance between work, life, personal, and he's able to repeat that over and over again by pushing off really the distractions that are constantly coming at him. Is this kingdom concept of I can repeat this lifestyle. It becomes normative in my life. So you've described it as again in reaching out to your day-to-day moments. But at what point do you think you started to recognize that this was normal? This was a norm for you. I know you've lived it out, but kind of you know, engaging Casey and I in different areas. When was there a point that you've kind of recognized this is a normal state of life for you?
Yeah, I think it's actually been more recent. I think before it was a habit, and before it was subconscious that you do it and you're not aware of it. But I think that's what the AHRK Encounters shows us, and the AHRK path is you can grow with it, and you can, as you're acknowledging, you're understanding it more, you can develop it more and share it with more people.
Yeah. So just more awareness.
Just more awareness. And more recently, even, you know, changing, you know, since last year has definitely been a reset to kind of pull back, reset, reevaluate, and then, so yeah, within the year for sure.
Well, come on, every year has been
every year is a milestone.
and that's really where we're at, is that we really need to partner together on life. And really help us bring focus to where am I at? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of something as I've seen you move and grow in your day-to-day, kind of staying centered. For me, the indication that you've pushed off distractions allows you to keep centered like that. Yeah. And really, that's the invitation. That's the invitation for all of us. I'm inspired by Adam regularly. I get the fortune of working with him. But at the same time, just connecting with us on the AHRK path is critical. We want to hear your story. We want to hear your journey and how you overcome distractions. Because again, we mentor each other in that sense, and we're looking to hear from you. What are the things that work to help you find that balance in life? Because really being on the AHRK path is this concept of friendship and community and learning from each other. So I hope you enjoyed our conversations today, and we look forward to your conversation as well.
That was amazing. I see the importance of valuing time and connecting with others, but also having that awareness to value the time and create these meaningful experiences. And if you like what you heard today, you can check out our website at www.arkhpath.com. Follow us on social media at AHRKpath, and we even have a podcast featuring the talented Bernard Brashear and Casey Cox. You can download our app, Circles Now, for more course packages launching soon. Thank you for tuning into AHRK Encounter, and we'll see you on the next one.